Hello and welcome to Synchro Path. And today, this week, we've got a lot going on astrologically and energetically, and I want to do a synchronicity reading for everything that's going on. But first, I want to talk about the astrology because it's really groundbreaking. So, first of all, this week, just yesterday, Neptune moved from Pisces, where it was transiting for quite some time. It takes a long time for Neptune to move through a sign. It's one of the slower moving planets into from Pisces into Aries, right? Aries is the sign of I am. It rules Mars, or Mars, Aries rules Mars, or whatever, vice versa. Correlated with Mars, which is a very much like I am, passionate, let's do it, let's get it done, fiery energy. I know what I want, and I'm going for it energy. And Pisces, where it just came from, was it's actually, Neptune is at home in Pisces, where it's very dreamy, and Pisces and Neptune rules like illusion and dreaming and imagination and kind of also like misinformation and delusion and all the pros and cons of what illusion means. So it rules images and the movies, and it rules the subconscious, things that are harder to pin down. But when it moves out of Pisces into Aries, it suddenly wakes up and it's like, this is what I want, I'm going for it, I'm doing it. It's a dramatic energy change. So Neptune just moved into Aries just yesterday, and the day after we have Mars, right? So if Aries rules Mars, then we look at Mars in the chart. Mars had just entered Aquarius a few days ago to join all the other stellium of planets that are there currently, including Pluto, which, if anyone knows anything about astrology, last time Pluto had been in Aquarius was the American, the French revolutions, right? Like deep revolutionary energy, deep dramatic transformational change in the collective. Aquarius rules the collective. It rules forward thinking, inventive thinking, innovation. It's very future-minded, futuristic. So with Neptune, planet of daydreams, illusions, delusions, imagination, and dreaming, and all that, moving into the I am sign of Aries, Aries ruling Mars conjunct Pluto in Aquarius today, to the exact degree, 3 degrees of Aquarius. That is big transformation energy. It's automatically being wake up to Neptune. Mars is the god of war, right? And Pluto is the god of the underworld. And when they get together, Mars wants control, and Pluto wants transformation. And Pluto just has control. Mars can't really get control. But with the combination does drive deep and dramatic change. So deep and dramatic change having to do with themes of the collective, of dreaming and imagination, of waking up the, I guess kind of in some ways the collective shadow, the collective id, but also making a very conscious I am type effort of dreaming and imagining a better future. Actually, excuse me, I'm going to look for a second because I believe the Sabian symbol for Aquarius 3, where Mars and Pluto are meeting up today, is very cool. It's really fitting. Let's see. Mars conjunct Pluto. Oh, wait. So you round up in Sabian symbols. It's 3 degrees. Aquarius is where they're meeting up, so you say 4 degrees. Aquarius, Sabian. It's like a Hindu. Yeah. A Hindu healer demonstrates his healing powers, signifying the disciplined use of spiritual energy for restoring balance, personal authenticity through deep inner knowing, and the development of powerful, trustworthy self-integrity that serves higher ideals and community well-being, often involving a focus on subtle forces and natural harmony. Okay, so with that being on the Hindu healer symbol, it's such a cool synchronicity to me because it just feels like a great, if you're going to have that kind of energy, you might as well have it on a healing, kind of spiritually minded, forward thinking kind of synchronicity symbol. I personally think that there's going to be a lot of change and movement in the way that we hope for the future. I think that we're already, enough of us can see the pattern of time and history and don't want it to repeat. That I think that this act of dreaming and imagining this future that we're all going to share, and the present that we all share now, the ways that it can change and benefit all of us and be more just and, like equitable and good. I think that just the act of imagining right now, the way that we're communicating and talking to each other, is going to make such a huge difference moving forward. I was listening to Aaron Ellen Boss of Nightlight Astrology. He was talking about how, these planets are moving in, they're in the first degrees, right? So Pluto's in the first degrees of Aquarius, and then Neptune's in the first degrees of Aries, and soon Saturn will be meeting Neptune there at that 0 degree of Aries, and those are the beginning of the signs, right? And so he was pointing out that, like, this is where we lay down the groundwork, the seeds, basically, of what will come in our future. Like, we feel the sense of urgency with Neptune there, and with the Mars energy hitting on that Pluto, there's a sense of urgency to drive deep change now. But the thing is and that's true, but the thing is that this energy is going to play out for a while. Like, this is going to play out over the course of some time. So it's our job to lay down the seeds and the framework of what kind of future we want to see now. And actually, I'm feeling like I want to look up. Where did it go? The Sabian symbol for 0 degrees Aries. Well, it would be 1 degree Aries. Sabian, because soon Saturn will be joining Neptune there, which is very, I was listening, who was saying that? That was Chani Nicholas was talking about how those two energies together, which is going to be a really big moment in our year. Neptune is the out there daydreamy, like, imagination thing, and Saturn is like, okay, so how do we do it? How do we make it real? The very bring it back down to earth and let's make it happen kind of energy. So let's see, 0 degrees Aries is a woman has risen out of the ocean, a seal is embracing her. The symbol represents the emergence of individual consciousness from the collective. Interesting. Symbolizing new beginnings, the potential for selfhood, and the initial awakening of personal creative spirit. The emergence of self. Interesting. The seal is embracing her. I'm interested in the whole seal is embracing her thing, because that feels like, what am I supposed to get out of that? A sense of, like, innocence and, like I'm just imagining how Disney princesses are, like, they're portrayed as so innocent and whatnot, and then all the animals, like, flock to them, and anyway. And with the ocean symbolism, it's very much like emotion, right? Oceans, water, the collective ocean of ether that we all belong to. Getting a sense of your own self amidst the collective. That's a really interesting degree for those planets to be meeting up on. So anyway, that's the astrological energy. I'm just gonna do, let's see, I'm gonna open to a random little part in this book about smells that I love so much and just read randomly. Okay. I unfurl a brown paper bag of its contents. My sealed container of cannabis, a handheld grinder that crushes buds into powder, and a one-hitter pipe in marbled emerald green glass. I also own a vape pen, which heats up the flower without incinerating it. This is both less damaging to your lungs than inhaling smoke, with the side benefit of reducing the incriminating smell to almost nil. If you've ever wondered why so many millennials and Gen Z types vape, they aren't all switching to a more techno-forward form of nicotine. They're also vaping cannabis in a more discreet, normalized way. Interesting. Interesting. Heats up the flour without incinerating it. Marbled emerald green glass. And how millennials and Gen Zs don't necessarily smell like the thing because they found new ways to consume it. Okay. I don't know. Feels like there's something there, but I'm just going to move on to the next thing, which I'm just going to open to a song in this book about pop songs. Who isn't to blame? The sunshine, moonlight, good times, or the boogie? What? The Jacksons. Okay. Impact on boogie on a variety of issues. Okay, let's see. What is the name of the song? Blame It on the Boogie? How come I don't know that off the top of my head? I feel embarrassed right now. I'm just going to read a random excerpt from this. Blame It on the Boogie. The USA's CDC estimates that good times, or at least the binge drinking that comes with them, cost the United States around $191 billion each year. The World Health Organization, meanwhile, estimates that the sun kills 60,000 people per year. That's some serious prior form that the Jacksons disregard entirely, all while boogieing seems largely blameless. Interesting. Whoa, costs the United States around $191 billion each year? Why? Like, we spend that much on it? That's unclear to me. But anyway, I am noticing that there are vices coming out of the synchronicities so far. So, that's interesting. I'm going to draw a card from my prototype physics deck that I've been making. Let's see what we get. This is a proton-electron relationship, or like the photoelectric effect kind of thing. So essentially, photoelectric effect, you get light hits a certain kind of metal and it drives an electron, and vice versa. And with electrons, it seems very like internal energy, like it's driving through a medium, like a more condensed matter, a complex matter medium. Whereas a photon itself is more fundamental. Well, they're both fundamental, so that's not a good way to say that at all. But the proton-electron relationship, it's like these two things where like a photon pushes out and away from itself, an electron pulls in and toward, and it kind of more so wiggles within a system. It doesn't itself move through the system, if that makes sense. It's like a jiggle slash... Hard to explain that accurately right now. But it's more of an inward pull. And the two play off of one another. Okay. I'm just going to do a few more cards of this reading, and then we're going to figure out. We're just going to tie it all together in a little bow. I'm trying not to make this like a bajillion years long this time. Ooh, okay. The Mentor. I like this image of the owl flying over what looks like a nebula, or like it kind of reminded me of an explosion, honestly, which is very Mars, Pluto to me. I mean, this is very Mars to me, and the kind of generally this wise owl flying through space feels very transformation Plutonian to me. But anyway, the Mentor. I'm going to draw two more from this one. I'm getting kind of out of the top of my head, I'm thinking of Carl Jung's shadow aspect. The fact that, like, the idea that if we don't confront our shadows individually and collectively, it becomes us on a level that we can't face and we can't really see, but is more forward than we even know, right? Like, it kind of starts to control our lives. This is a very Plutonian thing. The thing that we won't address becomes the thing that controls us. And again, Mars does not want to be controlled, so that's interesting with this energy. Here we have a box. I like the box because it looks like a bunch of boxes inside of another box. Like the easement. Put that box inside another box. Put that box inside another box. And then I smash it with a hammer. One more. The shapeshifter. There's like a kind of creepy mask thing and like an eye. Sorry, the light's crazy. I should work on my lighting. And like a tiger in there. Like kind of predator kind of energy. The shapeshifter. Or, you know, tigers are very sneaky. Oh, well, I wasn't even thinking another one fell out, so I'm just gonna do this one. Oh, I like it. The lover. The swan. The mentor, the box, the shapeshifter, the lover. Okay. I'm gonna get into this other one before we get into it. I should have had these out already. I don't know. One day I'll know what I'm doing more. Just step by step. See, I'm trying to exercise this Aries energy by just doing the thing, even though I don't totally know what I'm doing, and it's definitely not perfect. But whatever. For now, that's how you figure it out, I think. Okay, 3 cards from here. Okay, the first is ash. When you burn something and it becomes this other thing, it's ash. What's left over? What's left over of the thing after you exhaust its actual content? That makes sense. Energetic content. Vinegar. I'm thinking of like acid. Yeah, acetum, vinegar. I was talking to someone at work, like a customer yesterday, and he was talking about, well, she was talking about how vinegar, you know, different pHs are good or not good for certain things. And with health and whatnot, you want to balance as well, but she was just talking about acidic things contributing to like cancer growth, and I don't know if that's true, so don't quote me on it. But I feel like I've heard something like that before. I used to have terrible acid reflux in my throat, and I remember being told by my doctor I'd get some kind of cancer in my early 20s if I didn't take care of it. Didn't happen, knock on wood, but that's just what came to mind. Ooh, and Uranus. I love this card. So Uranus is the planet of abrupt change. It's like, that's like the earthquake, lightning bolt, lightning strike kind of energy, where it's like suddenly things shift and you notice it. So actually, where is it right now? I know where it is. It's been in Taurus, right? Let me double check. Let me consult it to me app. Astro Gold. Yeah, so it's at 27 degrees Taurus right now. And, ooh, the sun's coming into a square with it. So we'll probably be feeling that in the next little bit. Oh, dry up. Oh, my light went out. Okay, well, I'm just gonna keep it on here. Let's see. Yeah, and with it being in Taurus is a very, like, it does rule kind of things like earthquakes and stuff like that, so it could be something like that. I'm not gonna get into being something like that, but in our own lives, Taurus represents, like, yeah, kind of metaphorical ground we stand on, like comforts and resources and stuff like that. It also rules money and like love. Like it rules Venus. It's one of the planets that is correlated with Venus. I mean the signs. So that's interesting. So now I'm looking at all these cards together. I'm saying, so it's this photoelectric effect. The push and the pull, the light and the energy, right? Exchange. Seeing the mentor, the box, the shapeshifter, the lover. So one of the things about this box card is you've got this light in the center. And I think the author, Kim Kranz, talks about like, you know, progress being like a series of breaking through boxes, right? Like you have to get through this level to get to the next level, to get to the next level. Or get to this center to get to the next core, to get to the, you know, it's just like levels of transformation. The shapeshifter and the lover. You know, what's coming to mind for me with the shapeshifter is being willing to not be so stuck in our ways, of not being willing to change, to, you know, I think a lot of the time with our ideologies and the ways that we see the world, we wear it as our identity. And combined here with the lover, I'm like, you know, the lover is good at being considerate, is good at looking at options and in a graceful manner. And so the shapeshifter thing doesn't have to be so sinister. It feels like it is. Like, well, what am I if I don't believe this thing? Or if I'm willing to consider this thing, that I'm betraying myself, or I'm betraying whoever, or this, whatever. But we have to be, in order to actually change, to break out of these boxes, we have to be able to consider the other side, right? When I think of electrons, photons, it's like they're kind of switching off energy, and you have to be able to shapeshift in the same way, like being able to take in new perspective and also be able to give out what you know, stand for what you believe in, put out your own light into the world. Okay, so with ash and vinegar in here, this is really interesting because to me, both of those things are very like, acid it definitely isn't like always corrosive, but it feels corrosive, you know. And with ash, it's like what's left over after something has given all of its energy. I'm just kind of getting more of that flexibility thing, where it's like, don't be so stuck in one mode of being, one mode of thought, because if you're willing to, if you stick to that, like against all other evidence, against everything, you know, against your better judgment, you'll be left with this ash. You'll use all of your energy fighting for this thing that there's no more substance to, and then that becomes corrosive. And so I think, again, and then with this Uranus card in here of abrupt change and like groundbreaking shifts, it's important to really, really consider and start allowing in the shapeshifter energy, right? Like allow yourself to be flexible. And I do want to add the lover in there and understand that this is not betrayal of self or betrayal of other. When you're deeply considering the evidence and you're deeply considering the new ideas and thoughts that are presented to you in an honest way, that's the lover seeking truth. So being able to have this ability will be essential in this energy and moving forward. Honestly, whether that has to do with your personal relationships, relationship to self, your work, or the world at large. Ideologies, you know, a lot of this energy has to do with ideology, and with Pluto moving through Aquarius and now Neptune moving through Aries. This is like big new starts in ideologies. Transformations collectively. We'll probably see new religions and different kinds of ideas and ideals rise up. And old illusions become disillusionments. Not all of them, but it's important to be willing to be flexible when Uranus hits and some piece of evidence feels like too groundbreaking to ignore without diminishing you to ash. If you're going to spend all your money, maybe your money, or your energy defending it when there's nothing there. And deep down you maybe know it. I don't know. Here's a card from a tarot deck. We've got 10 of Swords reverse, which I actually really love for this because this is more of that like Uranian energy of like deep transformational energy where it's like this could really hurt. 10 of Swords is like deep pain. It's hard. But in reverse, it's like, yeah, this has happened. This sucks to feel, but at least there is truth in it. There is transformation in this. I want to see actually what the deck has to say about it. This specific card, 10 of Swords. 10 of Swords, reverse. You are resisting change and painful endings because you do not want to face up to what is really happening. Did I not? It's time to rip off the bandage and to get over with so you can start fresh. Rip off the bandage. Honestly, that is the best way to put it. Wow, that's really came together. Synchronicity. And now I want to think back about our weird little vices excerpts that we got earlier with both cannabis and drinking, which is interesting. So Neptune also rules like escapism. And, you know, especially when things are groundbreaking and shaking, it's important to understand that and to like control our vices, because with it being in the I am energy, it might become more easy. I don't know what more easy, because with it being in Pisces, it was probably easy to have certain kinds of vices. And with Aries, it's probably more conscious. And if it's not conscious, then it's just out of control, right? So it's like, and you will know subconsciously, but you'll kind of be more out of control because you won't want to face it. So the thing with like escapism, dealing with these energies, I just want to add this. This is actually what comes to mind. So I've gone through great disillusionment in my life with different ideologies. And when I was going through it, like when I learned something that like really, really hit, and it goes just like, okay, now I know this is not for me. But I like spent my whole life thinking this thing, right? So I remember thinking like, I don't have to know. I don't have to understand what this all means right now. Like, I see it now, and I'm going to digest it. But I can't force it. Like, it's just gonna have to percolate and simmer because there's no way to process all this all at the same time. It's gonna hit and it's gonna be like, ouch. And then you gotta heal, and the healing takes time, and that's not something you can force. You just have to take care of yourself. But you first have to acknowledge, like, ouch, I've been hit. And now I know this thing. This thing happened, and the only way forward is to let it heal. And that means not forcing that healing. That healing means allowing yourself to heal, to like let yourself process as it comes. And that's not to say don't put any work into it. I think like it helps to write down thoughts when you can, but then put it down and then change, like go think about something else. Do something to treat yourself. You don't have to handle it all at the same time. That made all the difference for me. Because there's just no way with certain things to process all at the same time. I mean, relationship, like breakups, that's one of the hardest things. Like hard not to obsess over those things. I mean, actually, Pluto does rule obsessive thought, and with Mars being there, it's probably passionate, so it might be hard not to obsess, but understand that's part of the energy. You can only do so much until you're reduced to ash, right? So, and then it becomes corrosive. So, learn to shapeshift, learn to grieve and mourn, learn to feel, and then go watch something funny. Go, like, you don't have to process it all at the same time, and you won't be able to, so don't try to force it. And take care of yourselves. I liked this reading. That was fun for me, and I hope this is helpful for anyone out there if anybody ever sees it. And we'll see you on the next Synchro path. Good luck, and adieu too.